Hello, everybody. I I recorded this earlier and it just did not come across well. So I figured I would try again. It's a nice Sunday morning. The birds are chirping. I'm in a good place. So let's talk about this. This is a piece that I did in Procreate about 7 months ago. But I wanted to put this up here because it runs a little bit faster. It's a little potentially more exciting. The piece is one that I did of Callie and Loki from a TV show that I really enjoy. And of course, there's a lot of mythology behind those characters that I wanted to implement here. Back when I did it, it was absolutely the most ambitious piece I'd taken on. I used so many different references. I was looking for a very specific feel. You'll see that I do a lot of testing things. I draw things and then I remove them and then I try something new and different. It was just a really fun and exciting piece for me because it was so involved. It took way more time than any piece I'd ever done before. The ultimate piece for me is not ultimately hugely successful. I think there are some issues with it, but I'm still, so at this point, I'm so proud of having done it, of having really stretched myself to try this out. To incorporate all these mythological pieces and also these characters to really try to tell a story with art, which is my ultimate goal and not something that I'd really felt like I was in a position to do for a very long time. I think when I started out, I felt like, well, I have to be a certain level, before I can go and try sort of my own thing, create something that is from my head, and of course, I still use references, and this isn't completely from my head. This is very much based on a TV show and the mythology that I'm really interested in. But it is something that I think is so. It's so interesting that I finally got to the point where I felt like I could do this, and I'm really proud of myself for feeling that way and for going for it. And I think that's something I'd like people to take away from this, which is, you can always do your own art, and it may take some time for you to execute it the way you're looking for, the way you want it to be, but it's never too early to start. Um, this was about 4 months into my digital art journey. I use Procreate I have an iPad Pro and the old Apple Pen. And those two things together really allow you to get a very sort of physical traditional media feel to the work, especially with pencil. It's very pressure sensitive. I really like the program. It's very inexpensive. An iPad is not, but the program, if you have one, the program is very inexpensive. I enjoy a really painterly look. We'll talk a little bit about how I go about it. As I said, it's 7 months later now. I was 4 months in at this point. I am not an expert by any means in Procreate, but I do love it. And I think even having a very basic understanding, there's a lot that you can do with Procreate. Basically, most of the things you can do with traditional media, you can do here. You're not going to get those surprises that you get, which I really do enjoy about watercolor and acrylic, but you will get a very similar feel, and I really enjoy it. So you can see now that, with all the different shapes and things that I'm trying out here, I'm just trying to get sort of a sense of it. I'm trying to frame it well and show it off to its best effect. I'm trying to build in these mythologies, that I've got, and really build out these characters and their relationship with each other. So Procreate, I think here I use the acrylic brushes pretty much exclusively. I find adjusting the opacity makes a huge difference in the ability to sort of blend those things together. I hadn't used the smudge tool at all at this point. That wasn't even, like, I didn't want that effect necessarily. But I was studying so many different references here. It was really wonderful, a great experience, and I would encourage you to just, if you have an idea, absolutely go for it. Try it out, because if you don't get it right this time, it builds, and you've tried it once and it'll just get better and better. Um, so I would definitely recommend that just try things out. And the nice thing about digital art, if you're able to do it, is that you can try things out and then remove them if you don't like them. You'll see there's this entire, like a huge feather motif that I work on. You'll see it coming around here, and it goes around the entire perimeter of the piece. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very reminiscent of my quilting days. The quilted feather looks very much like this, and I love it completely, and I hope that I'll have a chance to do something like it again. But ultimately, it just ended up being too busy. I had to get rid of it because it was just really cluttering up the piece. You know, I'm really proud of the things that I did with this one. And composition was a big one. You know, I made a lot of adjustments and choices in composition to try and keep it simple enough to really highlight the characters and their relationship to each other. And I'm really proud of that. Um, let's see. In other news, um, things are going well here. Um, it is week 3 of quarantine. I'm I'm just taking it easy here. I went to the grocery store. It was harrowing. Hopefully that'll get easier going forward. But I am really enjoying having some time to make these videos for you and try new things out. And hopefully, I'm hoping to finish up the watercolor that I've been working on previously, and maybe start some other traditional media things that I can film for you. I really enjoy acrylic, as I've said, so I'll probably try something out there. Um, there's a lot of options, and I love trying different things out, um, and just exploring at this point. I don't like to limit myself. I don't know that I ever will. I mean, I've never been a person to just stick to one thing forever. Um, I've always liked to try different things, and that's something too that I think is really important for people to know. um, if you do a lot of different types of work, if you have a lot of different interests, I feel like that's typically, I don't know, at least in my experience, sort of looked down on. Um, but for me, it's been such a great adventure, and I would absolutely encourage you not to limit yourself. Um, you don't have to do that, do what inspires you at any given moment. It's it's always something that is worthwhile for you. So follow your heart, and you'll make beautiful things. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon.